Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this video, I wanted it to be a little bit different, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I promise that this is actually real this time. I have an editor, and I've been working with my editor and actually trying to get an intro and making my videos a little bit better and things like that, because I actually hope that you guys subscribe and hit like. Shameless self-promotion. So I've been waiting. I've got like 30 videos that have like not been released yet. However, this one it's irking me so much. I just have to get it out. I'm gonna just push out a couple of videos, just whatever. They just have to go out because I think that there's I just can't wait. So let's jump into it. The video is going to be like King of Avalon and Fun Plus Games. That's Shit on a Shingle, Guns of Goop, Dino Wars, all their games, C-Day, all their pay-to-win shit compared to what NetEase and CCP have released for this game. I don't know if I'm going to do a perfect job on this. This is kind of off the cuff, but in a nutshell, let's just start things off with the big numbers. King of Avalon and all their games is on average about $10,000 per month in order to stay, let's quote, air quotes, up to date, or basically air quotes maxed out. Now, you can spend a little bit less than that, but this is like ballpark the pricing. So just to keep this in mind, that's on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, we have Omega, which is $15 a month. So if you can afford $15 a month, you're going to be getting, let me show you these rewards. And I would say that they're good rewards for the value, but there's something else that it comes along with that, and that I actually value more than these daily login rewards. I'll cover that in a second. So right hand side, $10,000, and it's a little bit more or less than that. I need a ballpark, because some months are like $30,000 or more. Like when they released SH45, the total value of that was like $25,000. Previous Dragon updates and Heroes and Dragon's Blood and all that shit, it's really expensive. It's like $40,000. So this is the right-hand side. Left-hand side, $15 a month. So if you're playing King of Avalon and you're watching my videos and you have like 2 brain cells, it's pretty simple to do this math. So superficially. Now, in this game, you could, in theory, spend a whole lot more. I'll cover that in a second. Let me cover what Omega does in Echoes that I actually kind of really like. So in my skill tree, this training thing, and more than the daily gifts, I actually really like this 75 skill points per minute. Let me explain this to you, because this is kind of how the whole game hinges on not being pay to win. You can't buy speed ups. You just got to wait it out. Like, I cannot spend money in order to complete this. I have to wait. It's just that simple. Now, if you have Omega, you get, I don't know, let's say 2 days worth, 3 days worth, 4 days worth, I don't know, something amount that of speed ups per month. Now, to me, that's both a generous amount and, in terms of value for money, a generous amount, and it's also basically going to force the game in order to stay not pay to win. You can't jump in and just max everything out. Now, what you can purchase in the game is ships, but it's driven by player economy. So if the market says it's more expensive, you're going to spend more, and it's optional too. For example, in this game, Echoes, you see in the top left-hand corner, I'm in a 0.8 area. In that, it just means I'm safe. Anything 0.5 or above, positive numbers, I'm okay. If it says 0.4 or below or negative numbers, yeah, I'm venturing into things where people can attack me, but it's entirely optional. And the other thing is all the encounters are basically, quote, safe for now. So on the right-hand side, you're dealing in a hostile environment. So when a kingdom opens in King of Avalon, a new environment opens up, lots of people go in, it's really hostile, it's all pay to win. It's basically like who's the most incompetent, socially inept person with money that wants to be popular. They spend, they boost, their egos, whatever. And yay. After a few months, the kingdom's dead because they probably killed it, or the people they didn't like killed it. Something. Que sera, sera. Go on and on. Compared to this, which is basically like an open world with lots of little stations and little places that you can go and play. And if you don't like the people in the current solar system, you just basically can just pack up shop and go somewhere else, more or less. You don't like the people in your corporation? Well, ditch them and join a new one. Speaking of which, if you wanted to join my corporation, it's tag R777. So here, let's show you what that is real quick, because shameless self-promotion. There you go. So R77. I would just have put 777, but for some reason they required to have a letter in there. Screw you guys. So yeah. But hey, nothing's perfect, right? The social in this game I think is a little bit janky. However, it works. Like down here, I can talk to my corporation. There's a local chat. The local chat varies based on systems. It's mostly spam, but hey, you get some conversations there sometimes. There's no history on this. So basically, when you log out, the history is lost. If you were offline and they sent a message, you're not going to see it. There's no translation, so you can't actually yell at the Chinese people. But, it works. See, people even write back. See, proof it works. So there we go. So right-hand side, $10,000 a month. Trapped, boring, dead kingdoms with shitty events. Left-hand side, $15 a month with... Okay, let me be fair. If you want the 75 skill points per minute, you're going to also have to buy these chips. You can technically grind them out by free play. You can technically grind them out by free play. These chips. Sorry, I was having a senior moment there. I was like, where are they? These chips. You can buy them, and so that's when it boosts up to 75. And I do recommend it. It's like $50, whatever. Just don't think about it. Just do it. It's like a one-time cost. This model actually follows, I think, let's air quote this, industry standards. Like if you go on PS4 and you wanted to get a game is going to be somewhere between $40, $50, $60. So spending $50 on these chips for a mobile game, some people might cringe. It is entirely optional. It's entirely your choice. If you wanted to level up faster, get them. If you don't give don't do it. You can also get them by going into the market. And forgive me if I don't actually know what I'm doing here. Pilot services, skill chips. So you can buy them here as well. So if you farm the ISK, you can buy them. And so yeah. So you don't actually have to spend money on them. You just have to actually play the game and you'll eventually get them. They're a little bit expensive for in-game items, but if you do encounters and you do missions, especially the story missions, and you have a team and stuff like that helping you, it shouldn't actually be that bad. You could probably get them within a month. So I just call it $15 a month and don't worry about it, or 15 plus 50, whatever. It's not $10,000 a month, and it's definitely not pay to win. I would call it more pay to recovery or pay to play. Because if you do lose your ship, you can go spend money and get another one, assuming that it's available in the market. Some things aren't actually available in the market because either they're just not available in the game yet, or people don't want to sell them, or maybe they're just too expensive. Here, let's take a look at something that I think is going to be too expensive. I assume it's still there. We'll see. So I think it's going to be a frigate, and I think it's going to be one of these faction ships. This. Yeah, see? Now, this may not mean anything to people who play King of Avalon, and this may mean very little long-term in terms of the game and the cost and pricing of those things. But as of today, this is fucking expensive. I would say that in real dollar amounts, this ship is probably... Wait a second, let me break out a spreadsheet, because that's going to be another difference that I have to cover here in a second. Because this game, I don't know if you guys can hear me because I'm not holding the phone anymore, is very complicated, and it's nerdy as... Yeah. So that's the thing that's different at the biggest point. Hold on. Let's just... Okay, so this is like... Let's call it $800 in real money. So that ship is a $800 ship. And if you get it, it's not going to make you magically powerful either. So it's going to be... It's definitely better than other ships, but it's not magically delicious. You're not gonna just rampage through a whole solar system, killing everything. So that's what it's not. So pay to win, no. Pay to recover, yes. Pay to play, yeah. But I mean, that's really your choice, and you, in most cases, you have the ability to escape if you get into something too hairy. There are cases where it's going to be harder to escape or impossible if you weren't prepared for it, but that's part of the learning experience. And you can just start from scratch and regrind and rebuild. Nobody's forcing you to spend. Maybe, hopefully. So I would say that on the left-hand side, the financial side of things, the Eve Echoes is extremely better. It's not perfect, but it's extremely better than King of Avalon. King of Avalon can eat a bag of dicks. It's a disgusting, vile, nasty. No. I would describe King of Avalon as crack cocaine laced with fentanyl, and I would describe this game as just crack cocaine. So if I had to put them like in a nutshell comparison, there you go. Now at a studio level, both studios I don't think are very good, but to err is human. And by this I mean King of Avalon and Fun Plus are very toxic. They are nasty. It's just really shitty company that doesn't respect their community. They'll lie, they'll cheat. They intentionally encourage cheating and negative toxic behavior. CCP I think is kind of like maybe the opposite of that. Maybe almost. And here's a comparison. So they both recently screwed up an update. King of Avalon just released Dominion. They completely botched it. It didn't work at all. People lost troops. It hurt them for other events. It's cascading snowball event. What you did is you got lip service bullshit emails and promises of compensation, but they didn't actually say they're going to give for the people's inconvenience anything. They said, what you lost, we'll replace. Yeah, that's what you get. Sucks to be you. We screwed up. Here's our fake apology. It won't ever happen again until 2 weeks later. Blah. Now, CCP recently screwed up an update as well. And I think it's still kind of screwed up. But I kind of give them a pass on this because it's kind of a new game. So, yeah. But more importantly is how they responded to it. They communicated with the community via Twitter, via Discord, via different channels. And they gave out what I would consider to be actually pretty generous I'm sorry's. They said for every hour that the game is down, they're going to give out 5,000 ISK per hour to both free players and the people who have an Omega subscription. In my opinion, this is fairly generous. Considering how rare ISK is in the game, you can't buy it, things like that. You're just forced to basically wait it out. If you are impatient and you are waiting for something to finish, this helps you out. It's basically like if you have the Omega and the chips, it's kind of like doubling how much ISK you get while the game is down. It's not perfect, but I would say it was a generous reward for them screwing up, and it was okay communication. And I have a feeling, my gut feeling is that they're going to continue to try and make their game better. We'll see. There's a lot of memes online talking trash about CCP, and I think it's probably justified. But again, as a personal game developer who's making a space game that's not pay to win, where's that sound familiar? Anyway, mistakes will be made. So I give them a pass on that. So studios, I would say that Fun Plus, their SOS, their Z-Day, their Guns of Glory, all their games, they don't respect the community. These guys are basically dickheads. They're toxic pieces of shit at the best in every interaction I've had with them, with the exception of a couple of managers from a couple of years ago. Otherwise, everybody has just been fake pieces of crap out in order to try and make the studio as much money as possible and not actually caring about it anyway. Compared to CCP, which I think actually cares about the community. Whether they do it for money or not, I don't know, but I think that they care. So one way or another, it's reflective upon their behavior. Okay, so we've covered the financial, we've covered the studio. Gameplay. King of Avalon is basically a 1 or 2 dimensional game. You spend money, you upgrade, you win. Doesn't really require too much else to it. Sometimes there's insider knowledge for events, like what troops to send, stuff like that. It's insider stuff. It's really janky. I don't like it. Makes me sick to my stomach. There we go, in a nutshell. Eve Echoes, on the other hand, is nerd porn. They have affectionately titled it Spreadsheets in Space. Because, frankly speaking, the UI sucks. It's complicated, they don't explain things, and you frequently have to deal with English. Yeah. So user-friendly, it is not. I'll make another video for like the newbie's guide to this, and some people will disagree with this, but you guys can eat a bag of dicks because I feel pretty strongly about it, and I think that it'll help new players have a better experience. So I'm basically going to hit stop. I'm going to record that and upload both of these videos very similar, pretty close in terms of timeline. So every 2 weeks in King of Avalon, let's talk about events a little bit. So I just kind of skipped over that. Let's talk about events real quick. Every 2 weeks in King of Avalon, you've got this hand-selected, in some cases, for the top 100 people in King of Avalon. It's hand-selected for people below you guys fit an algorithm. And it's basically like win 2 and get screwed. This is kind of more or less the algorithm. If you don't spend, get screwed. So you end up being dog food to somebody who's more powerful to you. And they know the algorithm. They know the most powerful in this person in this kingdom is X. They have spent X. They want you to spend more money. They're going to drive an event that gets you to spend more money. It's just that simple. The events aren't fair. They're rigged. They're not fair. They're at a time that's very convenient to Chinese people and not very convenient to other people in the world. I mean, like, I happen to live in Asia, so it's okay for me. But I mean, if you're in America, it means waking up at 4 a.m. on a Saturday. You know, in some cases, like, is that fun? Like, fuck you, this is ridiculous. Like an event that is exclusively tailored towards Chinese community. Like, eat a bag of dicks. That's so janky. We haven't really had an event in Echoes yet, but I think there's one coming up because they've teasered it with the medals and stuff like that. However, I have this very distinct feeling that it isn't going to be favoring Chinese people. I could be wrong. I mean, there's definitely some Chinese influence in the game. I mean, they've banned it in mainland China, but yet the game is flooded with Chinese people. But okay, I digress. Anyway, so on the right-hand side, rigged events, that's basically one-dimensional. Left-hand side, we'll see, but based on experience from the game that has 17 years been running on PC, EVE Online, probably not. So they have a track record of, you know, events that aren't necessarily too terribly bad. My takeaway from this is most of my friends, fans, loved ones, by that I mean you, people watching me on YouTube, you guys probably play King of Avalon. That's what you've seen me posting content on before. And I'm hoping, so this is my very sincere message to you, put the crack with fentanyl down, pick up a different crack. The game isn't perfect. Actually, it kind of sucks in some ways, but it's definitely better than that other thing. So give it a try. If you want to join my corporation, we do have space. Shameless self-promotion here. Yeah, it's just R777. That's how you find it. So one of the first things that you have to do in the game is you join a corporation, either because it's a mission and you're going to get 500k ISK, or you just want to join a corporation because of the social elements. So there you go. There's my corporation. As long as we have room for people, you're welcome to be there. Yeah. So hopefully my videos in the very near future are going to have like intro music and be a little bit more cool and little cards and things like that, done in a way that fits my style. So I'm trying to find that right balance. Anyway, just couldn't wait. I had to get this out. So I love you guys. Feel free to hit subscribe and like if you like my videos. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, that's it now. Bye-bye.